And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, another Facebook Live. We are here today, okay, from the lovely state of Arizona, from the Scottsdale office, we have Nicole Demas. Nicole, real estate extraordinaire, rock star, and now mother. Congratulations. 2 months now,
MILF.
right?
MILF.
Okay, we cannot spell out what that is, ladies and gentlemen. We are live.
I hear Paul laughing in the background.
Yeah, Paul's in the background laughing. He's actually holding his eyes. No, he's not. All right. All right, young lady. Tell us a little about that experience, because you got in real estate, you climbed the ranks, you're selling a lot, you got a lot of stuff going on, and then kaboom, you have a wonderful child. How has that changed your life?
A lot, for sure. Mike and I always, Mike's my husband, for anyone who doesn't know.
Mr. Graffone, I call him.
Yep. We definitely were talking about having a family, but it wasn't planned at the time that it happened. So it was definitely not something I prepared for, which is, I feel like, very different than most women or families, because, they're trying. So whenever that happens, that moment happens for them, it's like they're already prepared. And for me, it was like, I have 10 months to get some things in line, and I'm about to be a mom, which it's been the most rewarding thing, I will say. It's crazy what it does to your life and how much it changes you in every moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It gives you a whole different awareness, doesn't it, of what's important and what isn't, and things you used to do that you would thought, oh my God, I can't imagine not doing this. And then you have the child and you're like, you don't even remember doing some things, right?
Yeah, and I how I feel. I'm so women power. Like, I'm very big on strong women, and I support women, and I think that it's amazing to see like what a woman can do. And I do really believe, after going through pregnancy and labor and delivery, like, my respect for women is even on another level than it was before, because it's so intense and so insane. And a lot of you know that I lost my mom at 19. So
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily have, that mother-daughter relationship that I have now with my own child. So it's it's so wild to watch it with my own eyes now.
Yeah, that's great. No, and and I have the same, because I've been in a few childbirths myself. Not the person delivering, the person involved, right? Because if we were talking before the camera went on, if it was up to men to have children, the world would have already come to a screeching halt. Because
You guys
women,
can't even have a cold.
what's that?
You can't even have a cold. The
Well,
world
okay,
ends when men get sick. So
right. We're big babies. I've heard it. My wife's a nurse practitioner. No need to tell me.
yeah, women are, like I told you, I believe women are superheroes that just don't wear capes. And after delivering a child and the whole labor experience and what I went through, and to watch what your body can do, to how it heals and how it even develops, and you grow a child inside you, like, that is so crazy to think about.
It really is. It's absolutely a miracle. And like I said, I have a whole different respect for women, I mean, especially after being in a few of them. And I've been in for a C-section too. That was very, very frightening. For somebody who's never been in one before, it turns into an operating room, and you're like, wow. I'm seen out of the show ER, and I was like, put the scrubs on, but then it's a miracle the way it happens, right?
It is, yeah. Yeah. It,
It gives you a whole different purpose when it comes to your business too, doesn't it?
yeah, you definitely have to compartmentalize what's important. And I was joking, I used to go get my nails done on a Monday and my toes done on a Tuesday because I could, right? And now I find myself like, hey, I have an hour, do my nails and toes. Like, I got to be out of here. I have a child.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Before it was an event, now it's a necessity that has to be done extremely quick.
yeah, I definitely have put a lot of people in place to help me be successful at being a working mom, because that is very, very important to me. As you know, I had a great year last year, which is
Good.
insane, saying how that I was pregnant all last year, and I still finished the year not exactly where I wanted it to be, but pretty close to it.
Yeah, you did very good last year. And last year was I would call it a steady year. It wasn't great, it wasn't terrible, but it was definitely slow. The number of transactions were down a little bit, but it didn't affect the average sale prices. So how is your business this year so far, Nicole?
Well, I did write a deal 2 days out of delivery. So I was in active labor and I had a client that I knew he was looking to close a deal by the end of the year. So everything was kind of in motion for that. And he actually texted me while I was in labor. And I remember like talking to my phone, like talk texting, hey, I'm in labor. Let me get back to you. So when I was in postpartum
Wow.
when I was in postpartum recovery, I started the transaction. We started lining everything up. And then 2 days after I got out of the hospital, I was actively under contract and in my inspection period. So I really didn't take time or give myself as much grace as I probably should have during my recovery. So I immediately went into that 2 weeks after. So, yeah, 2 weeks after she was born, I took on a listing. So I, I
How
really
come I'm
didn't.
not shocked? It's on.
Yeah.
It's really funny because, and I'll just tell you this: I've been doing this for 39 years, and I've coached for over 25 now, and I have women who will tell me, like first child, will tell me, "Oh yeah, I'll be out for 2 weeks," and and then 3 years later, you see them show up to the office because once they had their first child, then they want, and then you have people like yourself that are like, "Okay, I'm back at it. You're still going to be a great mom, but you're going to still be a professional at the same time." Which, if you're organized, okay, I mean, you can do both extremely well, right?
Yeah. And I definitely think that I've always been the person who wants to do it all. And I think that sometimes I need to take a step back and realize, hey, maybe I should take a beat. But it's just never been bred inside me. I've always been good at just trying to do everything all at once.
Well, cool. And how's Mike? Is he already the super proud dad?
Oh yeah, he's in
That's what I
love.
thought. That's what I figured.
Mike is such a girl's guy. He's so good with women. I have a lot of girlfriends. I have a twin, and it's so funny because I'll be on the phone with my girlfriend or my sister, and I'm like, hey babe, I have to leave the house, and he's like, hey, can you call me in? Like, I need to know what you guys are talking about.
Well,
So
especially with twins, because you guys are like, don't you know each other's thinking and what's going on, and if the other one's happy and sad, and because you guys are identical twins too, which is kind of scary.
oh yeah, and he's been in our life for so long. I mean, I
That's
met
awesome.
Mike in 2012.
Wow,
So yeah,
12 years,
it was
13 years.
an adjustment for him, but now he has it. She's always around. We're always together. So he's great with women. With that being said, he's a girl dad now. So it's
Perfect.
really cool to watch that.
He'll be a great dad. Absolutely. You guys will be great parents too. And, it's just an adjustment. Like you said, it's a whole different thing. People think, okay, some people think my life is over. Other people think my life has just begun. It's all in what you make it. But it does bring up a part of you, that it's like a whole new perspective, I think, once you have children, especially your first one, because it's like all new. Everything's new.
Yeah, yeah, it
Right,
is
great. So
definitely
the great thing for you, you mentioned something earlier, like I like to have it all, I like to do it. And for your personality is not only that, but it's also you believe you can do it all. Like you have the confidence to do it. And I think that's been huge in your business, in your social media. And I think because of that way of being, you draw people that want to be around that want to experience that want to use you to make their dreams come true, so to speak, whether it be buying or selling, right? I would say that's a huge draw for what you do.
yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's sometimes it's hard and I do bite off more than I can chew. And last year I found myself saying no to more things or doing more things because I was taking on so much. And I'm not saying no in my business because there's no there, but like in my personal life or the events that I go to and everything, because I was just running myself so ragged, pregnant and whatnot. So I did turn down a few things last year as far as socially.
Good for you. Yeah, you had to turn it down. You had to turn down that personal life for a little bit, right?
But it's so funny. I joke like my daughter's name is Isabella, and she's been to She went to the Morgan Wallen concert. She went to the Taylor Swift concert. She went courtside basketball games. I mean, she's
She's been everywhere.
yeah, so she's already super spoiled, and I really like, it was important to me to still live a life. I was never going to be the girl who got pregnant and just stayed at home and just kind of gave up. And luckily I wasn't sick, and I know a lot of women do experience a lot of sickness in pregnancy, and I was lucky enough to never have that. So I truly had an amazing pregnancy, and it didn't stop me from anything. So I'm lucky.
That's great. That's great. Well, you're in great shape. You take care of yourself. So it's helpful when you're in great shape. Easy for the guy to say, I know, but it's tough when, I can only imagine going through the 9 months. Even when I think about it, I'm like, okay, stop thinking about it. I don't want to think about it anymore because I can't do it. I'm not qualified.
It's actually 10 months of pregnancy, and
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, I went into labor 40 weeks to the day of when I truly believe I conceived.
Nice. Awesome. Well, congratulations. That's so awesome. You and Mike. It's great. And your sister, too, because she's part of the family with you, for sure. Right?
She was in
the whole crew. You have a tight following, too. I noticed with your social media. Your dad, your stepmom, your sister, your husband, everybody. That you have a good little tight-knit group there. And I'm sure they're helping out with you as well, which is really good when you have support.
Yeah, and his family lives here, and they've been so helpful, and I probably couldn't have gotten through the first months without that support. So
good for you. That's good to have. Absolutely. And it'll because you got to get out and live too, right? You got to still do stuff together. You and Mr. Graffone.
Yeah, we do, and we are. We're going to Barry Jackson this weekend because I'm big into the car world. So we pick and choose what we really, really want to do, not just we're going to do it because we can.
You have to now. You got to be more efficient with your time. Definitely. So let's talk about, okay, so this year, what is your goal? What are you going to do between now and the end of the year? Transactionally, however you're comfortable sharing it.
I usually go based on production, not necessarily unit. So I finished last year at about 15 million, which I was better than the year before. And I can honestly say I was very happy with that, especially with taking on things that I didn't know were going to come my direction. This year, I would like to do 20 million, but I would be happy just doing better than I did last year. And I think that my 2 words of 2024, I'm really big on vision boards and goals and words of the year. And my 2 words are mindset and patience. So I think that just getting my mind right and staying patient through this year, especially being a new mom, taking on, my whole world has changed. So I think patience is huge, and just making sure my mindset is where it needs to be the best mom I can and the best working mom I can, and be the best representation of my clients.
Right. Yeah, you have to, especially when you have young children and you're working and you're in a sales business like you are. You have to have patience, or you'll become a patient. You will, for sure. Have patience or become one.
And I don't want to become one. So
you don't want to become. I don't think you look good in a wraparound house coat where they wrap you up with this and you don't want to do that.
But I struggle with patience. Because I run so high on energy, it's really hard for me sometimes to slow down, which, once again, another lesson learned throughout my last few months of healing, that I just need to take a moment. And watching me even figure out how to do that has been so eye-opening.
Yeah, because when you go through what you went through, labor, the whole thing, you have to heal, and everything has to go back to, through to the way it was. It takes a little time for that to happen, right? And it's you have to slow down, otherwise you're just going to get sick and hurt yourself.
Yeah, sometimes I forget she's only 8 weeks old, so I am 2 months. 2 months. That's all it was that I had a child.
Yep. Still new and shiny, and it's great. It'll always be that way too, because it just keeps changing. And you got the perfect example right there with Curtis. Curtis, he's almost 3, I think. Cam's almost 3, right? I think so.
Cal. Yeah.
Cal.
I think almost 3. Or maybe almost 4. I never can remember. I'm really bad at that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a cutie too. So you guys will have that'll be a riot seeing those two run around the office. But
And
yeah, Cal
here,
is he's like a legend at in the car show now. You heard about that?
he was talking about
Cal.
that at our mastermind.
What's that?
He was talking about that at our mastermind. Yeah.
Yeah, like 19 million views. That's amazing. So people always ask me, should I exploit my children? I would say, yes, you should. Puppies and children are the most popular. So you should definitely, because there's going to come a time where you're going to put a lot of time into them. When they get, like teenagers and so forth, and they change and everything starts to reverse for a couple years, and then it comes back even better. But so for all that, it's okay to get a little loving in advance.
It's so funny because there is a little girl that I follow on Instagram. Her and her mom do like these videos, and the little girl is so funny. And she just says the most wild, outrageous things. And I'm like, man, I hope my daughter is that funny. And just like you said, there's always that fine line of how much do I want to put it out there? And I don't know. I live such an open book
You
for the
do.
most part that that I want to show a little bit of my personal life, but I think it's going to be fun to watch her grow and put that out there and, show her personality. So I am really excited about those stages of her life.
Yeah. No, it's great. And I think, if you like what he does with Cal, he talks to him, he lets him, he spends a lot of time with him, lets him be himself. And I think when you develop children like that, their natural personality comes out. The most important thing with them is time. Let's face it, it really is.
Yeah. Jeremy Pierce has a little girl and he always shows me videos and they're so cute. She's so funny.
Yeah, I've seen them too. They're good. I saw when they would dance together once, weren't they? It's good. Whatever makes you happy, do. And I think children, if you when you like focus on them and make them the focus of what you're doing on social media too, that's got to be special for them as well.
Definitely.
But good. Okay, so 20 million. That's going to be about what? With your average sale price, is going to be around a million, right? Or maybe a little higher than that.
Yeah, my average sales price last year was a little over a million too. So
Yeah. So you're talking, let's just round it, let's say 20 deals. You got to do 18 to 20 deals, and you can definitely do that. So let's just say two a month would be 24. Two a month, that's one contract every other week. I always figure it out like that in my mind. So I'm telling myself that. So if you could do, so
and
you basically, go
that's
ahead.
best case scenario, but you've got to remember, like
Yeah,
I I've got to make sure I take some time to focus on family too, which is
you do.
also another big thing for my 2024.
Yeah, you do too. And you'll find that I think you'll see that doing them both and giving them both times actually helps them both immensely too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you can share that on your social media. Like you said, you're an open book, being authentic, and I think that's why, you know, people want to use you because you're authentic, you're real, you don't hold back. I think your first comment said it all. Paul's still blushing over there,
Oh, Paul.
but don't you think? I think that is a big part of it. I'm sure people tell you that when they work with you.
Yeah, I try and stay as authentic as I possibly can. I I think that there's always a way to communicate with people on how a level of how they want that communication, and I always like to respect those boundaries. So I think that just staying as true to who I am and balancing that is always my best technique for my clientele.
Great. I love it. All right. So before we finish here, give them, okay, so I'm an agent. I want to take my business to the next level. Give them a couple pointers. How about three of your top things to be successful in this business?
I reflecting on my last year, I think a lot of my success came from my farm. I hit it really, really hard last year, and I think it paid off finally. And it's not necessarily the deals that I got within that farm, it's about their kids or other homes they may have or the word of mouth that they put out there for somebody else. So that was really, really big for me. Obviously, I'm really, really big at networking, and that paid off huge. I had a client that did about 7 million with me, and just one from networking. So that paid off a lot too. I'm big on that. And that is like, doing things that you love, whether it's sports or taking up a hobby or joining a group or anything like that you can do to stay in front of people and relate to them,
Mhm.
relate to them. Um, those are two. And then I think being authentic. I
Yeah.
think that that's where people get really, really lost. They try and be somebody that they're not or talk a language that they don't understand. I think you really have to educate yourself on where you want to be. So if you want to be in a luxury market, you really need to know how to talk that terminology or that lingo or understand those appliances or not. You can't just say, "Hey, I want to go sell into a luxury market," and that's just going to come naturally to you because those people will question you.
Right. Yeah, when you're authentic, when you're trying to be somebody you're not, it's very transparent. You come across as phony. The thing is, be yourself, because you being yourself is going to attract a certain amount of people, and it's going to, I hate to use the word repel. It's going to repel. Just being but that's naturally. So if you're being somebody else, the ratio is still the same, but at least when you're being when you're being yourself, it's authentic, it's real, it's people can feel it. We all, as human beings, can feel that phony or authentic. And nobody wants to deal with phony. They want to deal with authentic. And I think that's a huge thing.
Yeah, yeah. I just, and this business is not easy. It really is not. And if
No.
anyone ever told you that it's gonna be, that's completely false. Yes, I would love to say it's like selling sunset and we all wear Balmain and drive Cullinans. I wish that was the case. Sign me up. But it's challenging, and every single deal is different. And every day I learn something new. And I have my ups and downs, and I watch my colleagues go through it too. So it's definitely challenging at the same time as it is rewarding.
Yeah. Definitely challenging. You have to be super professional. You got, like you said, you got to do your homework. You got to know what you're talking about. You got to know the contracts. Got to know the market. Your market is an incredible market. I think we're going to have a really good year. I think it's going to start off. It started off, a little better than last year, but I think it's going to continue to grow as the Fed hopefully continues to reduce the prime, the rate, the base rate, and it affects mortgage rates as well too, and everything else. It'll affect everything else too. So, all
Yeah.
right. Any final words you want to leave these lovely people?
I just want to say thanks for everyone who's always supported me in my journey in the last 5 years.
All right. Well, that's very nice, and we really appreciate you having you here. So keep rocking, keep doing it. Whatever I can do to help, let me know.
And thanks for always having me.
My pleasure. Well, you're a joy to have on here. You're like a natural,
Oh,
especially now with your new, being a new mom and everything too. I thought that would be a great time to have you on here, and you could tell everybody about it because people like to know what Nicole is doing.
oh, one day she'll make her appearance on here.
Exactly. Yeah. She doesn't even have to be able to talk yet. She can just, make an appearance.
To go like this.
Right. Bye, everybody. Oh, you wait. You're in for such a joy, when your kids start looking at you and recognizing you and smiling and then waving and then they start saying your name and then talking to you. And oh my God, you're in for so many blessings.
So funny is like the first 6 weeks, it's rough because their personality doesn't really shine. And you're just like, it's a game of charades, right? Like, okay, why are you crying? I got to figure this out. And I was never really good at charades. So, that has been so funny, but over the last like 2 weeks you can see her start to like have so much life. She's so alert. She is always smiling, and I will say she already takes after me. She fights sleeping. She likes to be awake. She likes to know what's going on. She's always moving her head. She always wants to look around. Like, she doesn't want to be set down. She wants to know what is going on around her. And I'm like, oh man, that is definitely my personality trait.
Women want to know more of that than men. So you got yourself yeah, exactly. Women are more observant. I'm going to be kind and say observant.
Keep it kind.
Yeah. Be kind. Woo! All right, Nicole. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody. Bye, Nicole.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you.